Welcome everybody. It is 5 p.m. I almost said 5 a.m. 5 p.m. on the West Coast and 8 p.m. on the East Coast. It's Thursday night and it's time for the Learning Wing once again here at Online Techniques. Now you guys, last week we started out with section 1 of this, which was called Repurposing Content. And I want to do a quick review of that, sort of a review, just touch on it real quick. And we will do a sort of a review of it in this section tonight. This is the second of 3 parts. And tonight we will really get into expanding on what we did last week. First of all, anybody that was here, have any of you guys done anything like what we were talking about or worked on what we were talking about in part 1, which was repurposing content? And Shirley, I know Shirley has. She said she's been working on it. Did you get to creating content? Did you get to distributing anything or posting any blog posts? Yeah, so you have the material. You have an article, and you have 3 blog posts to go with it, and 2 videos. Cool. There you go. All right. Last week, and I got to apologize for the slide. The slide says Content Distribution Part 1, and of course we're in Part 2. Part 1 was repurposing content, and it is recorded, and that recording and this recording will both be in the Learning Wing tomorrow. Okay, they'll be there probably tomorrow evening, my time, so not until probably like 8 o'clock. But Saturday, depending on where you are, they'll definitely be in the Learning Wing and live online. So if you missed number 1, you'll be able to go see it. It's a method of creating content and organizing it for distribution on the web. This whole series came about because we have a lot of people now that are blogging in in Contact List Builder, and people are out there blogging, and they understand that blogging is a great way to brand yourself. But then the problem becomes you need to get traffic to your blog, and there are all sorts of fly-by-night ways of doing that. There are all sorts of really, really complicated technical ways of doing it, which is why there's people like me who specialize in search engine marketing and things like that. However, the simplest way to do it is simply to distribute the content that you create when you're blogging. You have a blog post. A lot of people do article marketing to bring people to their blog. So we showed you a way last week where you can start with 1 article and end up with 3 blog posts that go with that article, and 3 videos that go with that article, and then 3 podcast audio files that go with that article, and that you can spend about a week just distributing that content around the web. And how many of you guys have ever put a video into YouTube? Give me a yes in the text chat if you do, if you have. Just gone over to YouTube and put a video on. Okay, we're getting yeses in the text chat. Well, most sites where you distribute content are the same thing. You'll have a profile, and then you'll go mount a video, or you'll mount, different kinds of files, and it'll have a description in there, some keywords that you tie it into, and the description allows you to tell people, hey, this is some of the information that I have on my blog. If you like this information in my video, come on over and see the blog post that goes with it. Boom, and there's a link. So these are all ways to bring people over. People go to YouTube and they search keywords. They search funny goats, which I searched earlier to try and get those videos that wouldn't play for me. But they'll go over and they'll search things like list building or traffic generation, stuff like that. And if you have a video tied into it, they will go look at your video, and then if it's interesting and if the description's written the right way, then they're liable to click on your link and go over and see your blog. That's targeted traffic. That's people interested in a subject, interested enough to be searching YouTube for it, and they found you, and so then they came to your blog. Somebody like that is likely, if they like your blog, they're likely to subscribe to your newsletter or to your mailing list. So there's a lot of different ways to do this. Last week we talked about how to organize your content for a very basic content distribution program. That involved an article, it involved blog posts to go with it, videos to go with that, and podcasts to go with all of those. And we talked about how you can make a really easy podcast or an audio file right from the video. Well, we're going to take this same thing today in session number 2 here, and we're going to blow it up really big. We're going to talk about where the different forms of content that you can distribute. It doesn't just have to be videos, podcasts, articles, and blog posts. It can be all sorts of things, and you can repurpose out of your content that you made, if you had done this thing last week. Now, the whole key to traffic is content. The more content you have out there, the more people you will bring to your website. So the more you can spread things around. How many of you, give me a yes in the text chat, if when you do a blog post, you go to Facebook and you put it in Facebook. Give me a yes if you do that. Come on over and see my new blog post. All about this and that. Paul says yes. Okay, Jerry says yes. Okay, I mean, this is standard procedure, right? How many of you have a LinkedIn blog account and take that same blog post over to LinkedIn as well as Facebook? How many of you have a MySpace and take it to your MySpace and put it on there? Well, guess what? Every time you do that, everybody takes it to Facebook. But why don't we understand in our minds, hey, I have a LinkedIn account. Hey, I have a Bebo account. Hey, I have an account over at My Networking Pro, or I have an account at Rise. Why don't I take my blog posts there too? Because every time I do, I'm exposing it to another group of people, my friends list over there, their friends list over there, and I'm also doing something else. I'm building backlinks. If Facebook is a really, really highly ranked authority site, and my backlink from my own account over there to my own blog counts as a backlink, how much more could I be doing as far as backlinking if I do that same thing in my LinkedIn account and my Bebo account, and then I go over and I do the same thing back to the same blog post in my YouTube account as well as my GVO Easy Video Producer, and then maybe I have a Vimeo account. Maybe I'm on 3 or 4 different video sharing sites, and I do the same thing there. Start to tweet it. Yes, that's exactly right. Now, start to think about the ways to extrapolate this out. The more times I do that, in the more places I can do it, the more backlinks I'm building, the higher my site is ranking, the more people I am exposing my blog post to, the more people are possibly going to read it. Okay? This is distribution of content. And the reason we started with repurposing last night was to get you used to the idea that one piece of content, which is an article, doesn't have to just be an article, a text file. Now, you can extrapolate it into 3 blog posts, and those are still text files. But there's a lot of different ways to do this. Have you ever taken how many of you have ever made a PowerPoint presentation? Give me a yes in the text chat if you've made a PowerPoint presentation. Anybody? Paul hasn't. Maurice says yes. Okay? They're easy to do. That's what you're looking at when you are looking at the screen here. You're looking at a PowerPoint presentation. All right? And Shirley, please hold on with your questions till the end, because Like I usually tell people, I can't multitask, so it'll just get me off course. You're looking at a PowerPoint presentation. Well, when you do a PowerPoint presentation, then if you've noticed, you can export that PowerPoint presentation when you get it done as a PDF file. In a few minutes, as soon as we're done, I'm going to upload the PDF version of these slides right into our shared files folder. And you can have them as PDFs. So you can refer to them at any time. Now, what that means is that I've just taken a piece of content and I've made it two different things. I've made it, one, a PowerPoint, and two, a PDF. Well, there are sites out there like DocStock, which wants documents, for you to share documents. People share documents all the time. You can take that PDF file and you can put it in DocStock. Same procedure like as YouTube, with a description and keywords you tie it into and everything else. Then when you're done with that, you can take that PowerPoint presentation and put it in SlideShare. The same way. Now, how many of you guys have ever made a slideshow? At PhotoBucket, for instance. Have you ever made a slideshow that you put on your website? Give me a yes in the text chat if you have. Shirley hasn't. Anybody done that? No? No? Okay. Well, you can make a slideshow. A slideshow is a PowerPoint presentation, basically. You can take a PowerPoint presentation and put it in a site called SlideShare. Which is a place where you share slideshows. You can take a bunch of JPEGs and go to PhotoBucket or go to SlideShare and create a slideshow that's that you would put on your website. And the last one, you can have a JPEG made from, go to a word processor, go into PowerPoint, create a nice slide, and take a screenshot of it, make a JPEG of it, put it in the slideshow, and it'll end with, if you like this information, the things you saw here, have it be products from your network marketing company. And then at the end, the last one says, for further information, contact you. Share it in SlideShare with a little note back to the blog that has to do with that product, right? There's a million ways to do this, and we're going to talk about where and how you can distribute content. And this is going to blow you away when we get to the list. All right, we're going to talk about different places where you can go and put content on the web in one form or another. Number one, article directories. We know about easy articles, okay? Well, there are a million of them. Microblogging sites. Twitter is a microblogging site. It's a microblog. You have 147 characters in there. Well, there used to be quite a few of them. Now there aren't so many because Twitter became a huge giant. But there are still other sites like Twitter out there. And, if you're going to tweet a link to your blog post, why not tweet it in other microblogging sites as well? More backlinks, more different people. A lot of people don't like Twitter. They don't like the way it works. They don't like the people in Twitter, And so they're members of other sites that do the same thing. Social bookmarking sites. Now, there are a lot of these. Social bookmarking sites are like Reddit. They started out because people wanted to share their favorites in their browser. Back in the days when everybody used a browser called Netscape, all right? Everybody wanted to share their bookmarks. That they were called, unlike Internet Explorer, they weren't called favorites. They were called bookmarks. And you would, put things in your bookmarks. But then there was, people wanted to share them. And you always had to go to the site and take the link and then send it to somebody that way, usually an email in those days, or early instant messengers like AIM, and then they could see your, sites you were interested. So sites like Reddit came along, and Reddit is one of the granddaddies of them all, and all it is a place where you set up a profile just like in Facebook, and what you share is links. you get to go in and, you tell people what you like in your profile and things like that, but you go in and you put in a link and you put in a little description and you tie it in with some keywords so that people can go to Reddit and they can search through keywords and find different sites that people have tied into it. It's a fast way to get information. It's a way of sharing your favorites, sharing your bookmarks, and it became really huge when internet marketers discovered it's a great way to build backlinks. And then it became, probably now, I would guess half the people that use social bookmarking sites don't spend much time in them. They're like you and me. They're going to set up a profile, and then they're going to post in there. They're just going to stick a link in there. Put a description. Boom, it's a backlink to their own site. They're sharing their own stuff, internet marketers, and there are ways to automate this, okay? Which is what we'll be talking about next week. But right now we're just talking about the different kinds of sites there are. So that's what a social bookmarking site is, and there are tons of them. I have a list of 50 of them that I use at one time or another. Now, I don't use 50 of them for everything, but usually if I do a blog post, I will make sure that it's bookmarked in 40 different bookmarking sites. Okay? That gives me 40 backlinks. It gives me exposure to 40 different places. And we'll talk about what some of them are. Social networks. Everybody knows these. They're like Facebook, MySpace, Bebo, Rise, all of those. And there's lots of them. Some of them, are things that you have to pay to be in. Some of them are free. Some of them pay you to recruit other people. There's all sorts of ways of doing this. But social networking sites, that's where you can distribute content. Now, note, when we say distribute content, we don't necessarily mean put the entire content. You're not going to take your blog post and put it in Facebook or MySpace. You're going to say something about you're going to do a short blurb, a short description of your blog post and invite people to click the link and come over and see it. All right? In the social bookmarking sites, you don't put your blog post. You put the link to your blog post and then a short blurb about what it's about and tie it in with keywords, okay? Social content sites. Now, this is like Ning and Hub Pages and places like this. In these cases, sometimes you do have all of the content in there. You'll write a mini blog post that directs people back to, for fuller information, where I can go into more detail on my own blog. Click here and follow me over there, right? Press release sites. Karen Poor does a great, our friend Karen Poor does a great training on press release, traffic through press releases. It's just like article marketing, except you have a slightly different format of what you're writing. So you can put your content on press release sites, podcast directories, iTunes. These are places where we made in repurposing content, we made a podcast. If you go to the Learning Wing, you'll find it's either a 2 or a 3 lesson series on how to put together a podcast from a video. And it's right there, so you can repurpose your content from your video. In repurposing content, you can take that video and make a podcast out of it. So you have to register that. You have to distribute that. Video hosting sites like YouTube. We're making videos. They go in GVO, they go in YouTube, they go in Vimeo, they go in VO, they go in all sorts of different sites. You don't have to just put them in 1 or 2. Photo sharing sites like PhotoBucket, Picasa, those are great places. You can make a photo up, a JPEG file up of something, that has to do with the subject that you're sharing in your blog post, and put your web address, your blog address on it. Then in the description, when you share that photo, you can put the link back to your blog post for further information. Has anybody here in PhotoBucket? It was years ago that they started to It used to, you know, when they started out, you just put a photo in and you titled it, you know. And then you started to be able to make albums. And now when you go in, you can put a whole description in there. You can tie keywords to your photos. And you can do the exact same thing that you can do with YouTube or with any of these sharing sites to bring people back to your blog. Document sharing sites I mentioned, those are like DocStock and SlideShare, and those are great places. All of these places are highly ranked authority sites, and Google loves to see links from them back to you, all right? Now, let's talk about where to distribute. Don't worry about these things being little and copying down these URLs or anything like that, because in the shared files folder there is a PDF document of all the things I'm going to show you over the next few slides. This is just an example. Now, Ezine Articles is the granddaddy of all article marketing sites, but there are hundreds of them. Now, be careful. Ezine Articles is very proprietary about things. One of the checks they do, and one of the reasons it takes so long for your article to be live there, is because they're going to do a quick search and see if they can find it on any other article directories. If they can, they are not going to publish it. So that's one of the reasons why in the repurposing content process, I tend to put my Ezine article in on the first day. Then they take their time, and once it's published, then it's open territory, okay? And I will go and put that same article in other article directories. Now, I will vary the description of the article. I'll maybe vary the keywords a little bit, but it'll be the same article. I'll do that in up to 7 or 8 directories. After that, you're running a risk of running into what we call the duplicate content problem, okay? But if you get some widely spread good article directories, you can do it in 4 or 5 at least, 6, 7, 8. After that, I'd hold off, okay? But here are some of them. There's iSnare, ArticleSpace, Buzzle, Search Warp, Article Alley, Go Articles, Article Set, WebPro News, Articles Dashboard, eHow. There's all sorts of places where you can put your articles. Now, the next thing is we're going to talk about is hosted solutions. You can, now, how many of you here have your own WordPress self-hosted blog? Give me a yes in the text chat if you have. Yes, yes, yes? Most of us have, I think. Okay? That's no reason why you can't have a blog at WordPress.com. And what you post over there is not the same thing that you post on your own blog, but every time you do a blog post on your own blog, you go to WordPress.com and you put up a blog post that says, hey guys, I just put up a brand new blog post at my home blog. It's all about this and this and this and this and this. Why don't you go on over and take a look and put the link to your blog? Okay? That gives you a backlink to your site from WordPress.com. And it also appeals to all those people that are working in WordPress.com, searching blogs and searching keywords in that system. You can do the same thing in Blogger. Just because you have a hosted blog doesn't mean you can't have one in Blogger and have one in WordPress.com. They've got slightly different names. And what you do on each one of those, on the Blogger one, is the same as the WordPress.com. Hey guys, I just posted a brand new posted a brand new blog on my home blog, and it's all about this and this and this. Why not come over and take a look? I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Boom, there's the link. Now you've got a link from Blogger over to your blog, and you're appealing to all the people searching in there through keywords to find blogs of interest to them, and they'll find it and come over to your blog. So you see what we're doing here? LiveJournal is another place you can make blogs. I think you have to pay at LiveJournal now. Blog.com is another place. And microblogging sites, we mentioned those. Twitter, Plurk, Haiku, Plinky, Yonkly, and there used to be my favorite, Clerp. Yeah, Klurp or Klurt, but it's gone now. I don't know, it was Klurp or something. K-L-U-U-R-P or whatever it was. Anyway, these are all places that operate similar to Twitter, and you can do the same thing in those. So, all of a sudden now you're starting to build a web of links. All of these sites are highly ranked authority sites, and all you have to do is go in there and say, hey, I put a blog post up on, come on over and see it. Maybe a little more complicated than that, but that's really all you do in these places. Blogging communities, My Blog Log, Spicy Page, Blog Catalog, Blogernity. These are places where, people share stuff on their blogs. You have that's what you do. You have a profile, and you share different blog posts that you like. So you go in and share this one and that one from this person and that person. Then oops, there's one of mine. There's one of mine. There's one of mine. It's all blogging communities are all about sharing your blogs and sharing your blog posts and sharing other people's blogs. So it's like Facebook for bloggers only, and there's no reason why you can't build backlinks and share content there. Now, bookmarking tools. OnlyWire is something we're going to talk about. OnlyWire is something that we're going to do the entire next week on. It is the granddaddy of all bookmarking tools. When I tell you that when I write a blog post, it goes to 40 bookmarking sites, well, it does it automatically. And it does it through OnlyWire, so I don't have to go to 40 sites. Okay? We'll talk about that next week. Social Marker is another place where you can take a link. You have to go to them online, socialmarker.com. And you can go there and you can put a link into a blog post, write a blurb, and boop, and it gets distributed all over the place. So those are some really good tools. Don't worry about these on the screen because you can get them in the document. This is a bunch of social bookmarking sites, guys. And this has not even cracked the surface. The reason I made it like this, it's really almost impossible to read. But it's Dig, Stumble Upon, Mix, Yahoo, Reddit, Technorati, Delicious, Caboodle, Propeller, Newsvine, 200lab.com, A1, Webmarks, Ambido, Bibsonomy, Blinklist, Yahoo Bookmarks. It goes on and on and on. They're all over the place. And you don't even need to be doing them if you speak only English. It doesn't matter. You can post in these things in different languages, and it works just fine. So the point is there's a huge amount of these, and you need to be spreading this stuff around. Now let me give you another little idea here. Let's say we did the repurposing content thing, and we've got our article, we've got 3 blog posts, we've got 3 videos. And we start to do this to put the videos out there. Well, first we got the blog posts, and now we're going to bookmark the blog posts. So we go and we bookmark the blog post. Then we get the video up and everything. We get the video. I usually recommend embedding from GVO and, doing that through GVO because the GVO player doesn't take them off your site. The YouTube one can. But then I also go to my YouTube account, put the same video up with a link back to my blog. Now here's another idea. If I'm going to bookmark the blog post, why don't I bookmark the YouTube page? I can do that. Here's a link to a video that talks all about how to do this and how to do that. Give it a look-see and let me know what you think. And I can bookmark the YouTube video. Remember, the YouTube video, if people go to it, has the link back to my blog. I don't care whether they come from YouTube or whether they come from a bookmarking site or whether my grandmother sent them the link. All I care about is that they come to my site, right? So why not book the YouTube thing? Well, hey, while I'm at it, why not bookmark the GVO page? It's a different bookmark, it's a different link, and I can say something similar that I said with YouTube. But then I've got I'm building backlinks that go from a bookmarking site to YouTube, and then back to me. And this is starting to be something that I'll name for you later, but this is starting to be something that Google really likes, because that is conversation going on. There's a link from YouTube to Reddit that goes to the same place that the description in YouTube goes. And they start to find roads backwards and forwards from all these places. So don't just bookmark your blog post, bookmark your videos. If you get the podcast into iTunes, bookmark your iTunes podcast site that'll be set up over there. All of these things, anything that you can think of to bookmark, and these are a lot of places you can do them in, right there. Social networking sites. We talked about these: Facebook, Cafe Mom, Plaxo, Bebo, Rise. People, don't ignore Rise. Rise is one of the granddaddies of them all, and very few people are, it's not as actively internet marketed these days, which makes it a really good place to go. It's very business oriented, so all you network marketers out there should be in Rise if you're not. LinkedIn, everybody knows now. Zanga, 43 Things, High Five, all of these places are social networking sites. And by the way, if you're in YouTube, if you're in Facebook, have you ever written a note in Facebook? Anybody, give me a yes in the text chat if you've ever written a note, which is a long post about something. It's kind of like a blog. It's kind of like a blog post. Nobody's written a note in Facebook. Facebook notes are very powerful. If you write a Facebook note, bookmark it. Ruby's written a Facebook note. Bookmark it. Take the link to that thing and bookmark it. Okay? Sure, it'll tell people that you got to log in to see this, but guess what? Most everybody's a member of Facebook. So you can go ahead and bookmark those things. That gives a conversation between a highly ranked authority site like Reddit, for instance, and Facebook with links in it that go back to you. And Google likes that. Okay, social networking sites, social content sites like Hub Pages, Ning, Gather, Squidoo. These are places where you'll share photos, you'll share audios, you'll share longer blurbs than just like a tweet. And you may do some, they have the ability for you to do regular posts, or like in Yahoo, Yahoo Answers. You can answer an entire question. You can answer something and have the answer to it be to go back to your blog post and find out more about it. Go search Yahoo Answers and see what questions you can find about search engine marketing, about writing a blog post, about this and that, and then write a really good answer to the question and put the link in back to your blog post. Okay? Now you got a link on Yahoo going back to you. And if it gets really a highly ranked answer, then you got a lot of link juice going there, and you've got a lot of people coming over. So that's just Answer Bag, My eBook, eHow, Zibio, all these places are places when you can do stuff like that. Social site helpers. Okay, Ping, that's Hello, Friend Feed, Hootsuite. These are all things that help you with your social sites. Like Hootsuite, you can get Hootsuite. You can manage your all your tweets and your different social sites in one place. Friend Feed is similar to that. These are just tools that can help you do this stuff faster. And then there's free wikis to find out anything you want, and you can write answers in those places. You can write articles about subjects that you want to write about. And in your author's box and in your explanation of who you are and your profile, you can have links back to your site. So all of these places, there's tons of places to do this. Press releases. Look at this, guys. If you're in CLB, in Contact List Builder, there are good lessons, really good, by Karen Poor back there. Didn't Karen do them in CLB? I believe so. And they're how to write a press release. Well, if you write a good press release, then you can distribute them to all these places. There's tons of them out there. Podcasting. Those are places where you can create podcasts on the left. And, you can also do it the way that I showed you show you in the Learning Wing, which is to just do your own out of your own videos. And all of those places on the right are podcast directories. I don't have the names there because they're known by their URLs. The way podcast directories work is if you have a podcast, then, you can take the podcast and just register it. Just take the, you can go over to the directories and you can make your own podcast profile. And but the best way to do it is to have it be on your blog. And just say, here is my, there's a couple plugins you can get that series of lessons on the Learning Wing shows you one that's really good. And what it does is it puts the audio file right on a post. And you say, here's the latest issue of my podcast, right? And it sets up a podcast feed. So all you have to do is take your, like stevegaghagen.com/podcast/feed address over to these places and stick it in there. From then on, it's a feed. And anytime I mount one of those podcasts on my blog, it's going to be indexed automatically by these and show up over here. iTunes works the same way. You can go over and register your, register with iTunes. Several of the podcast plugins just do that automatically, and you'll end up with a bunch of links back if you do these on your blog. A lot of people will create a talking file with every podcast, and the way I said to do it was just take the video that goes with your blog post, rip the sound out of it into an MP3 file, and stick it in the podcast slot that a lot of these plugins provide for you. So you'll see above the video on your blog post, you'll see a thing that says, listen to the podcast. Then you'll see the video. And it'll be the same audio. That's fine, doesn't matter. Because what's happening is that podcast audio is getting distributed automatically through a feed to the places over here. Okay? Which expands, and at each one where you register, you have a profile page, just like YouTube, just like, MySpace, where you set up your profile, and it shows all your podcast episodes. Go look up the Online Techniques podcast. You'll find it. It's out there. So there's all these places to do that. Video hosting, just YouTube. Hey, guys, look at all these out there. Motionbox, Rever, Serverload, Live Video, Kawigo, Daily Motion. I think Mega Video's gone. I think the government went after Mega Video because they were putting up a whole bunch of, like bootleg movies and things like that. And there is a tool called Tube Mogul that will distribute to all of these. So that you can not just, hit YouTube, which is the big guy, but why not spread that video out all over the place? We'll talk about Tube Mogul as well. But video marketing is huge, and I was using a tool for quite a while called Traffic Geyser, and it was $100 a month. But every time I put a video up, it went to 19 different video sites, and it was obvious there was huge traffic coming from it. All right, let's go. Oops. There we go. Photo sharing, Flickr, Photo Bucket, My Photo Album, Picasa, Photo Ape, Web Shots. Documents can go to SlideShare and DocStock. And then there's classified ads. You can put classified ads out that bring people back to your blog, Now, you're not going to do all of these every time. They don't all apply to every piece of content. Not every piece of content is something you want to do this with. But, if you're going to be putting a blog post up, telling people about it is sort of important. So as many places as you can. I think this is something that you should really consider, because then you can build a huge web that's designed to funnel people into you. Now, remember the repurposing content. If you did what we described, you have an article, 3 blog posts, 3 videos, and 3 podcasts. So instead of doing the process like we said before, if you want to expand it some, number 1, distribute your article to Easy Articles. Number 2, mount your number 1 blog post with the first video. Then, bookmark your blog post in bookmarking sites. Let's just talk about them. And then, so you've got the first blog post bookmarked in like 40 sites. Then distribute the blog podcast to podcast directories. Then distribute video number 1 to YouTube and maybe 10 other video hosting sites. And then bookmark, just pick the YouTube page. Bookmark the YouTube page for the video in those 40 sites. Okay? You don't have to bookmark, if you're going to do 10 video sites, you don't have to bookmark all 10. But you might want to do the YouTube one because that's the most highly ranked, and have it be in those 40 sites. Then pick one other video page, like Easy Video Producer, and bookmark that one as well. Then once the article's published in Easy Articles, bookmark the Easy Articles page with the article. Go to the article page, take the link, and bookmark it in 40 sites. Then, after the article is live at Easy Articles, distribute it to anywhere from 10 to 30 different directories. Okay? Now, this slide is a little old. The words on the slide are a little old. I'd stay away from the 30 these days. It used to be you could push it that far, but I'd go to maybe 10, and you'll be okay. Then, pick one other article page, like maybe Article Cube, one of the highly ranked ones like iSnare, and bookmark that one as well. So just the article is getting 80 bookmarks. All right? Now that's one time through. Now if you look at that, let's go back through it really quickly and try and figure this out. Okay. We've got the Easy Articles. Okay, that's 1. Your blog post is 2. Then you're going to bookmark your blog post. Let's say that adds another 40. All right? So that's 42 links. Then, going the wrong way, sorry. So now we're at 42. Then we're going to put the podcast to podcast directories. Let's say we do 5 of those, all right? And that'll make it 47, at 47. Then we're going to put the video on YouTube. Now we're at 48. If we go 10 more, that's 58 links. Bookmark the YouTube page. That's 98 links. Then one of the other video pages, that's 138 links. Let's say 140 so we can figure easily now. When the Easy article is published, now then we're going to go to 180 because we're going to bookmark that as well. Let's say we put the article then in 10 more directories. We're at 190, and we're going to bookmark one of those. That's going to put us at 230, right? We're going to have 230 doors going to our blog post. This is a lot better than throwing it up in Facebook and then going and having a drink. All right? You're going to be in all sorts of pools. Now you go back to blog post number 2 and repeat that process. So you're distributing your blog posts by bookmarking them. You're distributing your videos by uploading and bookmarking them. And you're distributing your articles by submitting and bookmarking them all over the place. So what are you doing? You are creating a wheel of links, a link wheel. Now there's many different specific designs for a link wheel, and this is just one of them. But and what I'm talking about is not represented by the link wheel diagram you're seeing. However, I just wanted to put that there to give you the idea that here you are with your blog post on the green dot, and what you've done is you've built all sorts of doors that people can go through to get to your blog post. Some lead you directly there. Some doors you go through and boom, you're on your blog post. Some doors you go through and boom, you're on something else that leads to your blog post. And sometimes, you can even connect these back and forth. Like I talked about bookmarking. That's what you're doing when you're bookmarking your YouTube page. Your YouTube page has the link that goes back to your site, and you're bookmarking a page with a thing in between. This is what you're doing. You're creating a web that's designed to catch people. Now, isn't this really time-consuming? Yes, it is, especially if you try and do this by hand. Some of it has to be done by hand, and this whole world of automation or non-automation of content distribution is a lot more dangerous than it used to be. And I'm going to use the word danger, okay? Because you can shoot yourself in the foot. I have personally done, been working with a blog that was on the first page for a search term on Google, did the wrong thing one night, and found it on page 12 the next morning. Okay? So, I don't want to scare you about it. It's something you need to do. But you need to know the proper way to do it, and you need to know the ins and outs about it. The pros of automation are very simple. It saves time. Okay? And there are a lot of ways to do this out there. However, the cons are not so simple. And you've got to watch out for that dreaded guy in the lower right-hand corner of your screen there, the Google spider monster. Because the Google algorithm is a lot smarter than it used to be. And for instance, they used to have they still do, article submitter software, and I'm talking about the real cheap kind that you would get maybe 5 or 6 years ago, that you would set up once, and I used to do this, set it up once to go to maybe 30 article directories. And then you put your article in the software, you just copy and paste it in, and you tell it who to distribute to and click the button and let it go, and you'd hear it click, 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 and it'd be going through submitting these things. That's fine. Except now Google looks at that activity. Oh, look, this same article is being distributed all over really fast. And Google says, that's automation. We're not going to give it as much credit as it would normally get. Okay? So a smart article submitter these days is going to space that out. If you use automation to submit articles, make sure that, if you're doing it to maybe 10, 15 directories, that's going to take 2 weeks or so to spread it out. Traffic Geyser and TubeMogul both do video distribution. You put in a video, you upload it to the system, and you tell it which ones you want to go to, and you tell it how long a period of time you want it to take. If you're distributing to, 10, 12 video outlets, you want it to do it over like a 2-day period. You want to, you want it to do it over like a 2-week period, maybe 14 days. And you want it to take time so that Google doesn't say, oh, that's automation. So there are ways to do this that are fine. Bookmarking, it doesn't matter that much. You can throw a whole bunch of bookmarks up. What you want to do is try and vary the descriptions a little. But really, it doesn't matter. I've found that the OnlyWire system is really powerful. How many of you guys have heard of a system called Tribe Pro? Yeah, Janet has, I know. I'm a member of it. A lot of people use it. Tribe Pro basically depends on OnlyWire, and they've actually now partnered with the OnlyWire system. I just say that as a way to tell you that the OnlyWire thing really works. You don't get a lot of duplicate content crud going on, and it's really, really simple. In fact, recently they've made it so simple for bloggers, it's silly. So anyway, watch out what you're doing. Yeah, non-automated automation is what you want to do. So there are other tools you can use. There is a thing called Bookmarking Demon. Now, they are having a problem with ClickBank right now, so all their sites are dead while they negotiate a problem they have. I've talked to them, and it's going to be live in the next few days again. But Bookmarking Demon is standalone software. It sits in your computer, and you can set it up to log into a whole bunch of accounts that you set up at the bookmarking sites, and it will distribute articles. It will bookmark things for you. It's a one-time cost of $147, and it is a bear to set up correctly. And it will space things out. You have to leave your computer running all the time, and a lot of times it will take up resources, so that, you know, this is best for people who have like 2 machines at least, so that you can leave one running that software, because doing anything else on it is going to be really slow and may mess up your bookmarking scheme. So, but there is that option. It's good software. I've used it before. We'll talk about it next week. OnlyWire, this is where I advise everybody who's just starting with content distribution to start, because it's fairly simple to set up. It's a booger. You have to go in there and you have to create all of these accounts. All right. If you've already got Facebook and you've already got things like that, and you don't mind it posting on your regular Facebook, okay. If you got a Facebook group, okay. You just go in and you put your login information. But there's all these other places like Splurk and Bebo, and, you know, that you probably don't have accounts, and you have to go through, set up the accounts, set up a profile, make sure you're confirmed and your account is working over there, and then enter your login details. OnlyWire will do that for you. I think they charge $100 to do it, to make sure that you've got all your accounts working. But anyway, you can start over there with the best way to start is with a $13 account. Either the $13 account or the $25 a month account is best. TubeMogul is video distribution. You can use it for free for your own purposes if there's no marketing involved. But if your blog has anything being sold on it, then you got to get a marketing account over there. And they start at $50 a month. The good one is $100 a month. So, you know, it's not the place to start. OnlyWire is definitely the place to start, and we will talk about it next week. The other choice you have is to outsource this stuff. Now, we, do that kind of thing. Any good web services company will, be able to do this stuff for you. We can do it for you. If it's, what we do is we set up the accounts and we use our automation accounts to go ahead and do your stuff for you. We have to set up one for you, so that you're not just posting on everybody's Facebook and things like that. But we get the whole thing set up and do it all for you. You send us the content that you want distributed, and we do it. If you want to talk about that, contact me. So, that's it, guys. Do we have any questions? I know there was one earlier that I was very rude and said, save it till the end. But I hope you got something out of this. You can get that document. If you look in the shared files folder, you'll see it. It's called Content Distribution. Yeah, Shirley, you had the question. Oh, you were asking something about putting content right into your, copying it into your WordPress blog. I didn't understand. So there is a ton of stuff to learn here. Next week we're going to show you how to make this really, really simple for you bloggers. Okay, you got your answer, Shirley. That's good. Okay, we're going to show you how to make this really simple because, but the main reason I wanted to go through all this was so you understand number one, you should be distributing your content because that's why they call it the web. The idea is to go out there and bring new people to meet you. Well, if you're sitting in your own house with the blinds closed and the awnings down and you got your shades on and all you're doing is screaming your blog posts to yourself, that doesn't do any good, and it's a little neurotic. But it's a funny image. So you need to get these things out there. And repurposing is a way where you can make your content available to all sorts of different sites, depending on the format that they want. And then distributing and bookmarking everything is the way that you can make all of that stuff available to a really large group of people, okay? So that they can at least find it. So that's, and next week we will talk about how to really get this, get this simplified for you guys. I'm going to make it so easy for you, you don't even have to think about it. So, Saturday is 9 a.m. Pacific, noon, with Janet and Don. Janet, you want to tell us what's going to be happening on Saturday at getlivetraining.com? What? Am I doing your call? If I am, it surprised me. I mean, I'm always more than willing to do it, but I don't think I'd heard yet. Look at my hair. Looks like an explosion in a mattress factory. Okay. You want to take the mic and tell us what we're doing? That was priceless, huh? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Janet Legere.
Oh, my computer is giving me challenges tonight, I tell you. It is just one of those days. I had lunch with my daughters today. Oh, I don't know, guys. The next week or so is going to be a real challenge, okay? Because we got 2 babies coming. We got one coming sometime between now and Tuesday, and then another one coming between then and the 13th. So they're all scheduled. So Tuesday there's a baby coming, and on the 13th there's a baby coming. Goodness gracious. But on Saturday, we're going to be talking about positive mental attitude. PMA. I'm going to be talking about what it means to have attitude, what it means positive all the time, what it means to feel good, what it means, embrace life and quit complaining and quit blaming everybody else for everything and just taking control of everything that you have in front of you. It's going to call. I'm not sure what Don's talking about yet. I forgot to ask him. But I will be asking him because I got to prepare for our call tomorrow. But positive mental attitude, you want to be there Saturday, noon Eastern at Get Live Training. Thanks, Steve. That was a great call tonight. Really appreciate it. And love working with you.
Well, thank you. And you sure scared the hell out of me. All right, so that is definitely the place to be, guys, on Saturday morning at 9 a.m. for us Pacific Timeians, and at noon Eastern at getlivetraining.com, the best instructors with the best information. And I'm looking forward to that one. That'll be very cool. All right, next week, guys, content distribution 3, inside only wire. I'm going to show you exactly what that puppy is all about, how it works, and hopefully get some of you started using it, because it is really all you need to do until you get, if you want to get absolutely huge, then you can start doing other things. But if you just start bookmarking your blog posts and occasionally bookmarking your video pages, you will see very large traffic compared to what you're used to. I'll tell you right away that if you just start bookmarking or using OnlyWire to bookmark your blog posts, you'll see your visitors go up instantly. And you will be bringing, and the interesting thing about that is you're bringing new people to your blog. You know, it's nice that the same 40 people come and see your blog posts and read your stuff, but to bring new people over that may return and may subscribe to your list is what you need to be doing every day. You need every day new people, and I'll just guarantee you that if you use OnlyWire, that's what will happen. So, and you'll be surprised how many links you can get out there, how quickly. All right? It's not unusual to put 2,500 links out over a month for a normal blogger just bookmarking his blog posts. So that's next week. We will conclude the content distribution thing. It's not going to be really over because I will show you different ways of doing this as the rest of this year goes by. But this is the basis. This is the basics of getting your content out there. Next week, same bat time, same bat station, here at OnlineTechniques.net in the Learning Wing at 8 p.m. Eastern Time and 5 Pacific next Thursday. So thank you all for being here. I really like the fact that I'm back doing these again. I love show business, but I missed this. So hopefully I'll see you next week, and have a great evening, everybody. I'll stick around for questions in the room if you want. The video is over. And have a good night, everybody. Thanks for coming.